before you decide to pick up your life and move to another country, you should think about a few things. And if you're doing that thing, that major, huge decision for a man, don't do that. Please don't do that. Chances are that relationship will not work out. You will hate him. And worst case scenario, you'll be in a domestic violence situation. But let's just talk about the move itself. So look at all this pretty stuff. Look at all this. Look at this. Pretty stuff, pretty stairs, pretty lights. Oh, it's all nice. It's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I love my life. I love my life. But if you come on vacation and you're like, I want to live there because it's so beautiful. 6 months into it, you're going to hate this place. You won't even see this stuff because you're going to be miserable. Wherever you go, there you are. So I did not move here for a man. I moved here for myself. Let me just tell you some of the things that you have to deal with for when you move somewhere for yourself. So you better want it. I just, came up all those stairs, all of this. I mean, this is gorgeous, right? I understand why people want to move to beautiful places just because they vacation there, because of the idea of it. Oh my God, y'all. Look at this pillow. Nicolas Cage pillow. Oh my God. I mean, I've been in France for 5 years now because the stuff you have to deal with, immigration, and I have passport privilege, and I'm a white woman, and I'm middle class, so it's way easier for me, right? But all of that, like hundreds of hours paperwork, trying to figure out how the hell you move here, you work here, all the stress of not knowing if you're going to get kicked out at any moment, the language alone. Like, I just came from my French class, and we spent at least a half hour of our hour and a half long private French lesson, which is very expensive, which I can't afford, but at this point I can't afford not to. Spent a half hour doing this. Do. Because people can't understand me. Because instead of saying je peux, I'm saying je peux, which is like not what I mean to be saying. Still, I feel stupid all the time. I feel misunderstood. Can't be myself because I'm not fun. Because I can't speak the language well enough to be fun, funny. And I have so much shame around it that it paralyzes me. It blocks me off from getting to know my in-laws better. Blocks me off from making more friends. Because I'm the person that I don't want anyone to ever feel uncomfortable like they have to not speak their own language, their native language, just because I'm there. And so it just makes things harder to navigate, right? And that's just the language factor. Then there's the cultural differences. Whoa! Like the fact that family is really important here. And I love that. Community is really important here. And I love that. That's one of the reasons why I moved here. But if you're like a US American like me, it's weird. And it can be lonely if you don't have a family here. My first year here it was amazing, but it was really lonely. I didn't see anyone from, I don't know, during Christmas time, everyone just disappears for 3 weeks. It's not like they go home for Christmas for like a couple days. They disappear. They're with their family. Summertime, you won't see anybody. You see them in June. You're like, okay, see you in September. Because everyone's with their family on vacation. Or they're off just doing their vacations. There's some of my closest friends I haven't seen in 3 months. Because you know what I mean? Look at it. So there's these major cultural differences. And if you are not prepared to completely change as a human being, don't move. So many US Americans come here and try to keep their American mindset of individualism. And you would not believe how much it's like in my DNA. I don't even know how to get rid of this thing. It's so hard to get rid of. And this obsession with work, that like it creates a lot of conflict between me and my husband. Because I'm like, but what are we doing? And he was like, nothing, that's the point. And I'm like, no, we have to do something all the time. If you're a vegetarian, good luck. If you're vegan, don't come here. Everything's got butter and cream. Like, I could go on and on. I don't really make content like this very often. But every time I write an article, like the one for the Daily Beast, this one right here, it's one of the proudest things I've ever written about my schmegsual liberation and how I centered my O in the bedroom. Every time I talk about something good in France or with my French husband, people are like, oh my God, I want a French man. I've never met a French man like my husband. It's not because he's French. A little part of it is being French. Most of it is just him being him. Him being raised in a family that loved the crap out of him. Him working on himself a lot to get to the place where he has evolved this much. And obviously still has a long way to go, as do I. But please don't get in your head that uprooting your entire life, even if it's just for you, is always the solution. I have no regrets about moving here. It's probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And y'all know my life. As a raft guide, outward bound instructor. I literally did stuff that was challenging and terrifying for a living. But basically, leaving my entire life, my community, friends, family, culture, language, to start over in another country where I didn't know anybody or the language, which honestly is the dumbest thing I've ever done. Don't regret it, but still the dumbest thing I've ever done. Has been way harder than anything I'd done before that, other than maybe like healing trauma. That is a next level like challenging. And the reason why I want to make videos like this is because I just like, I understand content of like travel influencers or people who are like, oh my God, look at my life. My life is so amazing. I don't know, I'm a realist. And I think a lot of times people are really ill prepared for what it means to actually emigrate to another country. You're just going to do a digital nomad thing for a while and wander around. That's different. That's fun. But moving to another country with the intention of staying there, it is a kind of loneliness like nothing I've ever experienced. If you don't like yourself very much, you're going to hate it because you're going to be stuck with you. Because again, wherever you go, there you are. I'm very lucky to be here. I'm so fortunate that I have this life that I have. But I see so many women especially who think that, oh, I'll just move to France and find a husband. Don't do that. Do everything for you, not for a man, and not for the idea of a man, not for the promise of a ghost, not for the fantasy. Being a little bit delusional is really good. That's how, like, the reason why I've done most of the cool stuff in my life. But moving to another country means, unless you have a lot of money. If you have a lot of money, then everything I say is good. Like, it's going to be a little different. But unless you have a lot of money, you're not going to see your family much. You're not going to connect with them. You're not going to, and your friends, you are really going to be cut off from your old life. Make sure you're prepared for that. Make sure you're emotionally prepared for that. Because finding a therapist in another country who speaks English, finding friends understand you, finding a community, finding an apartment, like, don't even get me started on finding an apartment in France. Woo! Anyway, just don't do something for escapism. Don't do something to avoid something. Maybe do. Just know what you're getting yourself into. Again, a little bit of delusion is really good. Please don't think that all these people who have accounts and they're like, oh my God, look at my life, oh my God. Or don't go on vacation to France and be like, this is it. This is where I want to live. Because you love the buildings and the lanterns and the food and the sound of French language. This is not Emily in Paris, y'all. Nobody has that girl's life. Nobody has friends that are French. If you're an immigrant. It took me 5 years to get like 3 friends here who are French. Make sure that you are at a level of healing where you really like yourself. Because if you go to another country and you don't really like yourself, you're going to hate yourself. Just spend more time on healing. Then maybe think about immigrating. Unless you have a ton of money, then do whatever you want.